So looking at, you just mentioned hiring people. What's the toughest talent to find in terms of backgrounds and, I don't know, programming maybe? What's the toughest talent to
Yeah.
find?
Um, the thing. I mean, like people will say that, um, you know, I read a lot online, things that are based in the U.S., let's say, and they always talk about, programmer, developer founders, users key, like business side founders is always a bad sign for a business and this type of thing. So I think, um, I might argue that, if you look at some of the most prominent startups that have become like, ongoing businesses in the Middle East, very few are like developer founders. I think because we have a lot more business challenges than development challenges. Our challenges are things like legal, corporation, funding, this type of stuff, which it's not so much product based. So yes, the product is mammothly important, but I think our hurdles don't necessarily lie in product as much. They much more lie on the business and the legal side. And so I think that's why you've probably seen more kind of business side founders than like programmer side founders. And I think, right now, I think we're at a stage still where you don't win so much based on technology. You win so much more on business model and implementation. And so I think that there's a kind of been almost like not a forced de-emphasis on development, but it's not as vital. Don't get me wrong, it's super important, but if you had to choose, if I could go be 51 to 49 of one of those sides, I'd still be business than development right now, just because, our business wasn't technological innovation. A lot of the businesses, when you look at some of the businesses raising money, they're not technological innovations. The flash sales sites in the region, the new guys coming up, shoe stores and subscription commerce and things. They're not tech plays, right? They're business model plays. They're marketing communication plays. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. So technology and developer experience. I mean, I ended up hiring one of the guys I worked with at Date, for example, because I knew he had experience on high-scale websites in multiple languages, scalability, development, and he didn't really have much experience in the platform that we worked on, but he had learned that. He learned that, and so, but had kind of the right experiences with like high-scale sites. Which again, there's not that many people in the region that have experience with high-scale websites that aren't fairly static forums or whatever, that actually have user registration, credentialing, this stuff, especially commerce as well too, right? So I think that's something that I think one of the hardest thing to for us to find has been or has been or was people that had experience marketing and branding in the online space and user acquisition, on like towards conversions. So there's lots of people who work for like agencies and they're doing the online media buying for FMCG and this type of thing where it's about brand building, whatever. Ours is user acquisition to conversion, right? Email subscribers and transactions. So there's just not that many people that had experience doing things like that, really implementing budgets online. And so I kind of did all of that too, for the first year or so as well, and learned. I knew some stuff in the first place and learned as I went, and I think that was one of the biggest challenging is that kind of experience with with really kind of not digital marketing, because there's a lot more of that now, but really kind of online commerce driven, conversion driven marketing, but